back. We are on another episode of Value Talks, and I have another guest in the building. If you don't mind, brother, if you want to go ahead and present yourself to the people.
Absolutely. My name is Jerome Shaw. It's a pleasure to be here. Yes.
You- Yeah, I came across this brother on TikTok. I was just, doom scrolling late night like I do, and he came popped up, and take this in the most respectful way possible. Okay, you gave me because I've seen a few of your videos and I liked them. And then I started seeing some of the interviews, and I'm like, man, he's giving off this Professor Xavier vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're recruiting, these spiritual people, and you're picking their mind. You know what I'm saying? I love it though. I love it. And I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like your energy dog is amazing. So if you haven't heard of him, we're going to give you a chance and opportunity to really expand on who he is and what he brings to the table, and give you a chance to truly understand what I saw. Because, like I said, he's definitely worth following and definitely worth bringing to the table for some type of enlightenment right now in this world that we live in. So, which is going crazy. You seen what's happening?
Oh man, I'm
Apparently,
hearing about it. I'm hearing about it for sure.
I
Yeah.
like me personally, brother. I keep my mind in a place of I dictate my reality. Now I understand collective consensus, you understand? But at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, it's like I don't want to put my energy towards the situation, period. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, it's hard to ignore.
hmm
So how are you handling what's going on right now?
Yeah, just staying consistent, consistent with your spiritual practices, just being consistent with your work, being consistent with your purpose, consistent with service, consistent with everything that should make you less nervous, in life, like just being
Ooh.
in alignment with your assignment for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was some bars. Oh my god. You rap? you you're a rapper, cause yeah, that was some bars, buddy. I
I
like
used to
that.
freestyle years ago. I used to freestyle. My friends got me on my show with that one. So yeah, we used to.
That's
hmm
beautiful. Art. I mean, music is a beautiful way of expressing oneself in art. So I do music myself, so it's a big expression for me. But what you just said, that was beautiful. Can't wait to clip that. But anyway, so tell me, man, what got you started?
Uh-oh. Hmm. Think we got disconnected. Hmm. Are we rebooting?
My bad, brother. I forgot to hit the do not disturb on my phone.
All good. I was wondering what happened. I was like, what happened to him?
Phone call. Yeah. So what got you started in spirituality?
Man, when we're calling it spirituality, I mean, I was raised in the church. When it comes to religion, I was raised in the church. I was raised Christian. On my father's side, we would go to church on Sundays. On my mother's side, I was raised Seventh-day Adventist, so we would go to church on Saturdays. And spirituality, like other waves of thought, new age, like new thinking, and just new consciousness, that didn't really even come into my bandwidth or my wavelength until till 2019. That was the year. 2019 and 2020 were like very defining years for me in terms of spirituality. And what got me into it was, getting away from everything else in society and like just wondering where I was headed in life and not really liking where my trajectory was taking me, not really enjoying my direction and not really having connection, you know? So it led me down a path of introspection that led me in a different direction, but a deeper connection for a lot of reflection. So that was like meditation, meditation. That became my foundation, and that definitely became like my own medication at the time where my mind was like really, there was a lot of illness. And so I had to sit in stillness. I had to be in silence to get away from the violence, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh
So
yeah.
that happened when I got around some monks and nuns from Myanmar. They're from Burma, so they're Burmese. And this was in California, in Los Angeles, of all places. I went to a monastery and they invited me in. They allowed me to stay with them. So they let me live with them and just learn from them, just through osmosis, absorbing their practices, observing their consistency with their persistency, and just maintaining and sustaining. And just the energy was gaining. I mean, I started fasting. I started doing a lot of practices that were longer lasting than my other practices, which were draining, and was not maintaining. I started doing things like, retaining the seed, retaining semen retention, celibacy. I started doing, self-love practices. And I started pouring all of the things that I had been pouring externally. I started putting all that focus and energy internally. I started reading books. I started sun gazing. I started being out in nature. I started, getting my bare feet in the grass, just breathing in fresh air. I started doing a lot of breath work, doing a lot of, spiritual practices, things that people would call very esoteric, very out there, very maybe even secular, maybe sacrilegious. I was doing a lot of those practices that were getting me in tune with not only myself, but with the whole world in a brand new way. So that really started my journey, and that really started my learnings, for sure.
So 2019, 2020 is when that integrated. So you
Yeah.
became an integrator around that time.
I became what?
An integrator. You started integrating the information.
Absolutely. Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, on that note, we got enough information. It's not that we need to add more into our life in order to, what I'm saying, expand what we're doing. We need to subtract and integrate what we already know and what we already have. And that
Yes.
expansion is going to allow you to let go of old identities and
Mm.
transition into new identities, new behaviors, new patterns, new cycles, which is going to allow you, listen to me, decision makings for the best valuable version of yourself. You need to learn to tap into the person that serves the highest version or the highest value. You feel me? Because me personally, I made valuation because I was searching for purpose, and
Yeah.
purpose work is what's going to allow you to serve that value to provide towards an ecosystem which builds tribe, which helps him, like he said, builds that connection, because
Mm.
everybody wants that connection. And you get lost sometimes when you perpetuate in life unconsciousness, because a lot of people distracted, and you're sometimes just in that distraction perpetuating the unconsciousness. And it's time for us to stop perpetuating unconsciousness and integrate the knowledge and become more spiritual, add more value. Sorry,
Absolutely.
you triggered, brother.
Yeah.
You did,
I'm
you
right
did,
there with you. I'm
you
right
got
there
this
with
Professor Xavier vibe, and you just kind of hit me. It was like, say this. All right, but anyways,
you. I'm
so how?
with you.
So you've been interviewing people since 2019, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Around that time, I started doing interviews, and yeah, been doing them since then, for sure.
So through the interviewing process, what have you gained? What is the most, I say, the most value you've gained through interviewing different individuals through the spiritual process? Because it seems, for me, what I've seen, if you've interviewed a lot of spiritual people, a lot of people that understand more internal understandings than external understanding. You understand?
Yeah, yeah. It's been a wide range. It's been a wide range of people not only just in spirituality, but people in health and wellness, people in fitness, people in science, people that know a lot about biology,
Mm,
people that know about the body's anatomy, people that know about breath work, people that know about qigong, people that know about, tai chi and ancient Chinese practices, ancient Hindu philosophies, ancient, like, all sorts of things that people know that I'm fascinated by. I think it's just really an obsession with the love of learning, just learning and discerning, like what is this thing that really brings everybody together? Like, what is the things that unify us in this universe? What
mm,
are the great unifiers? What are the great, the just this unity consciousness, and understanding that we have that unity with community. Like, we realize this when we come together. They talk about, if you want to go fast, you can go alone, but if you want to go far, you must
mm.
go together.
That is,
Go together.
that's
So it's given me a listening ear. It's allowed me to listen more clearly to what people are saying, and the things that people aren't saying. you
mm,
know it's allowed me to listen to those silent. Yeah, for sure.
That's like tapping into unseen in plain sight. You know what I mean? That was
Yeah.
a beautiful concept right there. Because a lot of times you gotta. I want to say this too. Never listen to what a person say, because 90% of the truth comes from body language. You learn
Mm,
the body, you really understand what they're saying, because it's reading in between the lines that truly matters. We understand, and that's a
yeah.
key secret to understanding people, because people be talking bullshit. They be talking bullshit. Listen to me, y'all, especially y'all spiritual people, I've been noticing, like, since I've truly integrated, a
Mm,
lot of y'all just be talking spiritual, but y'all are truly not integrating the information. And I know, based off the conversations, you know what I'm saying? It's
mm,
just information that you just want to give because you heard it, but it's not something you've truly integrated. And I know, based off the resonance and how you're just giving the information. You know what I'm saying? It's, you could tell it's not personal. You could tell it's not something that got depth behind it. It's kind of surface level, but behind all that, we all, it's a lot of us wearing a spiritual mask. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? It's time for us to take off that mask and
mm.
be authentic. You know what I'm saying? And
I hear you.
and sometimes, like he was saying, y'all need to be an active listener.
Mm,
This active listening is going to allow you to be more in resonance with whoever you're talking to. You
right.
understand? A lot of people, like I said, they're just talking to respond. They're not responding because they listen. You know?
Mm.
So yeah, I just thought that was cool that you said that, brother. You got some poetry. You write poetry?
I actually have written poetry. Yeah. Yeah. I have a poetry book available now for sure.
Really? What is it? What is it?
So the one that I have on Amazon is it's called The Pranic Path and How to Grow It from the Mind of a Poet. And
Mm,
it's based on like my journey with pranic living, with breatharianism, just how I got that journey started, how that path started to grow, and the things that I started to know on that path. I put in that book for sure. Yeah.
nice. Where can people find that book?
On Amazon, yeah, just type in my name, Jerome Shaw, and it pulls up all of my books on Amazon. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Okay. And since he throwing out products, y'all check out my divine wraps. You know what I'm talking about? These turbans are mine. These aren't just for fashion. These are for identity purposes. It's also for crown protection. These are handcrafted premium divine turbans. You understand? Get yours, inbox me now for a DM wrap or a DM turban, and I will get you together. You understand? And
Beautiful.
also, DM my brother, get his book. You got any other products and services that you offer?
Yeah, mostly the books at the moment are the big ones that I've been offering lately. Other than that, just online content, creative content like audiobooks as well, content online on the website that we have with different audios, videos, and things that I've done with retreats that I've been to. Other than that, I mean, yeah, it's mostly just the books that I've been focusing on with the products that I've been putting out. So yeah, I mean, everything else is mostly free. I mean, been teaching qigong for free for over 4 years now. I've been, doing the podcast back in 2018. So things for people's listening pleasure, for their auditory, for their reading pleasure, and just yeah, for the enjoyment of learning, for education, entertainment, and enlightenment.
And
Absolutely.
I encourage everybody watching this right now, if you can, check him out. When I
Mm,
say watching his videos, the internet is a portal. And when you go on his page, it's a safe space.
mm,
Do you understand? It is a beautiful space at that. Not only aesthetically, but you feel safe. You ever watch something and it's like, you don't want your kids seeing something like that? It don't matter who's watching his content.
mm.
It's a safe space and you're learning something from it, and it's something you can take and apply right now. So
Wow.
with that being said, brother, what spiritual practices do you recommend anybody who's in the beginning of their spiritual journey to start?
Yeah, I mean, the top of my list would definitely be meditation. Like I was saying before, that's the one thing that really got me out of my head, like out of the head space and into the heart space. It really got me into a mode of just relaxation. They say relaxation is the father of all creation, you
Ooh,
know? Like it got me in such a mode of imagination, like using that mode of vibration to give birth to everything. You know, so many ideas came from stillness, just sitting down with myself. And I remember hearing, you know, Blaise Pascal was a famous mathematician years ago, and he said that all of humanity's problems stem from our inability to sit by ourselves in a room alone. And I like that quote because he didn't say like some of humanity's problems. He didn't say a few of humanity's problems. He said all of humanity's problems stem from that one thing, the inability to just sit down, like to sit by yourself in a room alone, like in silence.
It's
And we're perpetuating so much violence because we cannot sit in silence. You
mm,
know, we're perpetuating so much illness and disease because we can't sit in stillness. We can't sit still with ourselves. We get bored. We start scrolling. You know, we start eating. We start chewing. We start doing. We start going out and doing everything because we're trying to escape ourselves. But everywhere you go, there you are, right? You try to escape. You haven't gone far. So you look in the mirror and you're still there, right? So it's becoming aware of what is already there. And that's what we call today, we call that self-care, you know? So just sitting down with yourself is one of the best things you can do for your own mental health. That would be the top of my list.
and that was some jewels. And just to add on to that, people who have a problem meditating, let me give you a simple key that is primary goal to understanding how meditation works. And it's simple. Pay attention to the breath. That's
Mm-hmm.
all you got to do.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the breath for as long as you can. If you
Mm-hmm.
can't and you drift off, start over. And you do this over and over again so you can reach longer durations. And listen to me, I'm a practitioner. When you meditate, and the longer you get into these meditations, it's almost like a VR experience once you let go. Because, like you said, it's stillness. And I'm going to give y'all another key.
Mm-hmm.
This is some game I could try. Stillness is a portal.
Yeah.
Do you understand? We are manifesting at all. You don't, nobody has a problem manifesting. We
Right.
are always manifesting billions of times per second.
Mm-hmm.
But when you choose, listen to me, when you're in a moment of stillness, the body, the nervous system is at a state of safety. You
Mm-hmm.
don't even go to sleep unless the body feels safe.
Mm.
And when the body is still, it's able to drift off. And when you go to sleep, you're doing way more than dreaming. The
Yeah.
body's rejuvenating. The body's literally downloading information. You're alternating timelines in that moment based off what experience you had the day before. But when you
Mm-hmm.
learn to meditate, you're now consciously, somatically choosing these timelines. You tap into those portals through stillness
Mm-hmm.
and through breath control.
Mm-hmm.
Breathing in the nose sends signals to the nervous system. Breathing in the mouth sends different signals to the nervous system. These are activation tools that you can use. Understand these activation tools and learn how to use them as tools to enhance your life, not just as a concept. Please. Anyways,
Absolutely. No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant, brother. Great tips. Great tips.
thank you, brother. I'm just trying to add on to what you said though, because boy, you're speaking so much like, man. I'm telling you, y'all, you need to start your school at X Men. Stop playing. I'm telling, I'll be there. I just learned. I just learned some. I think I got some powers, right? Let me tell you what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I had a problem going to sleep, and I found out. I remembered, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, people, it's a button right here. It's like an internal reset button on your wrist.
Mm-hmm.
That when you push this button, and it's stimulated on both sides,
Mm-hmm.
you can instantly go to sleep.
Wow. Wow.
Because I remember that, I said I got a superpower because I went to bed. I can come teach people, brother. Let me teach them how to rub their wrist. The superpower. But anyways, so that was, like I said, that was beautiful. Tell me now, when it comes to spiritual practices, what is one spiritual practice that you can recommend to anybody that wants to start their spiritual journey right now?
Yeah, I would say the best one to start or the best one to do is the one that you can consistently do, you know? Like it really doesn't benefit, I would say, to start or do a spiritual practice that you don't align with, you know, that's something that you feel you can't do continuously because The object is to do it continuously. Just like you said, the breath, we're breathing continuously, whether we like it or not, whether we know it or not. It's happening consciously and unconsciously. It's the first thing that we do when we come. It's the last thing that we do when we leave.
Mm,
It's the breath is the first thing we receive, and it's the last thing that has to go. So focusing on the breath is focusing on the now moment, because the breath is always in the now moment. The body is always in the now moment. The mind might be here or there. It might be in the future, dwelling on the past or ruminating and perseverating in all sorts of different timelines. But the breath is always here right now. So
mm,
when you focus on the here right now, you're back in the here right now. And now is an acronym that stands for no opportunity wasted. you know so when you tune into the breath, you tune into that now moment. You're tuning into the all that is, because this is all that is. you
wow.
know I remember I was in a botanical garden with one of my friends, and we were seeing like all of these monarchs, these butterflies, these huge butterflies, and they were beautiful. I mean, they were just flying all over this butterfly garden that they had cultivated this place just for these butterflies. And I asked this lady, who was there helping the garden and cultivating them. I was like, what is the lifespan of the butterfly? Like these butterflies are beautiful. Like, what is their lifespan? She said, oh, about a few weeks. I said, a few weeks? She said, yeah, like a couple months at the most.
Wow.
I said,
Wow.
what? Like a few weeks, a couple months, that's it? That's all they get? That's all their life is? And I was like, I mean, what would life be like that? How do you even conceptualize life in
And
less than 2 months? And
yeah.
she said, well, she thought to herself, and she said, well, for them, I mean, it's just this. She looked around the room and she said, for the butterflies, it's just this.
Mm,
And then when she thought about it, she said, actually, for us, it's the same.
mm,
For human beings, it's just this.
mm.
Like we get sidetracked, we get derailed, and we get off put on all these different ventures and side quests and all these different things that we get into. But this is all there is. Like, this is all we know. This is all we have.
Mm.
So the breath is all we have. The body, this is the temple. Like, this is our only house. This is our only vehicle. We may have a Maserati, a Lamborghini, a Bugatti, but this is the vehicle right here. This is it. You know?
That's
So yeah, I mean, I just want people to understand, like, whatever spiritual practice that you tune into, pick the one that's tuned into you. Pick the one that you appreciate enough to be consistent, because that's gonna give you the most growth. The
right.
most spiritual growth, the most you know evolution in this life is gonna be the one that you consistently do, for sure. Because we're a product of our habits, and yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh man. So what is one that was beautiful, first off. But what now, next question. What is one spiritual misconception that you think is spreading around our community?
Misconception.
Yes. Like, can I let me just add on. So for me, I feel like a lot of people think that, like I said, because you learn something spiritual, you're now spiritual. But it's
Mm,
just it's not a true integration. You know what I'm saying? Or demonized culture. Our culture is a lot of it's been demonized. You know what I'm saying? That's a misconception. Like symbols now look like they're demonic, which is
mm,
crazy. A
mhm,
lot, a lot of our stuff is witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? It's a big misconception. So, what do
mhm.
you think? One big misconception in the spiritual community.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I mean, I was raised in the church, like I said, so I was taught to think that this is of the devil. you know
Ooh,
this is of Satan, and
ooh.
this is of, like, evil, and just you like demonic worship. And no, don't go over there, don't go over there. You'll get misused over there, you'll get messed up over there, you'll get taken over there, you'll get shaken over there, but you might awaken over there. you know like,
Oh,
that could be what breaks you out of the spell, like what breaks you out of the programming you
you don't
know
study. You don't study what you fear. You know what I'm talking about? You stay away from that shit.
Right. Right. So yeah, I mean, if I would have stayed in that box, in that bubble, in that container, I would have just, really just put a limitation on my imagination and on the high vibration that I could have or feel when I would reveal what was real, you know? Yeah.
And just to add on to that, so I can just let everybody know, one of my that was a big thing for me. I went to church and I told everybody, we don't have to believe in the devil. It's not real. Oh my God, dog! I sparked the craziest thing because they all listen to me. They all try to convince me that if I believe in God, I have to believe in the devil,
Mm,
right? And it was so because I'm like, but I thought the job of us in church was to stay away from the devil. So
mm,
why force me to believe in the devil? If and I, in order for me to believe in God, I have to believe in the devil.
mm,
But listen to me, because I was listening to a book called Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. And
mhm,
that book, it was the first time I've ever heard that the God is the devil, right?
mm,
And when you understand energy, energy simply is. And when you
mm,
understand free will, we understand that we can choose to be good, bad.
mm,
We can choose to go left, right.
mm,
Energy is could be either good, it could be either bad. But through free will, we choose what we want, right? And the devil is simply energy. It is the opposite spectrum of what is God. It is the positive spectrum is God, the negative spectrum is the devil. But then we
mm,
talk about Satan. Satan is the adversary. You could be Satan. I could be Satan. Anybody could be Satan. It is a character, a role that you play. The
mm,
Baphomet is simply as above, so below. It is a symbolic representation of it. And then you want to talk about what else we got? The devil, Satan, Lucifer is just come on now. It is not the same as the devil, and it's not the same as the Baphomet, and it is not the same as Satan.
mm.
Lucifer is a totally separate entity. And when we combine all four of those things, we're starting to confuse ourselves. But even if that, I still feel like why focus on something that's not the benefiting you or your highest version of what you can accomplish right now. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So if you find information that don't serve you, just leave it alone and focus on what's serving you. But I
Right.
did want to put that distinction out there for y'all because it's important for us to understand that me personally, this is just me. Y'all want to have this conversation, but God is the devil, and
Mm.
you are God, and you can be a devil. So, anyways, brother, like I was saying, let me get back to the interview. What do you think right now is a good piece of information for everybody to heal right now? Like a lot of people have problem healing, and what do you think is what can you provide right now as a good piece of information for people to start healing right now?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say the first thing that came to my mind was fasting. Fasting.
Ooh.
Yeah, like just just the amount that we eat is, in my opinion, is very unnecessary. And I know that from coming from somebody who used to eat very unnecessary portions, very unnecessary amounts, inordinate amounts of food. I was eating just plates of food to feed families. I really was eating that much. I'm 6'3", right now I weigh like maybe, between 160, 170. But oh my gosh, back when I was like, shoot, 180, I was eating so much. It's ridiculous. But when I started fasting with those monks and nuns that were teaching me fasting, they don't eat after noon. So I started going liquid. I started doing more days liquid. And then I started even adopting a liquid lifestyle where I was doing long periods, prolonged periods of fasting. And then it turned into not even fasting. It just turned into living. Like this was my new lifestyle. This is just how I live now. And I went on like that for a while until I realized that food was like another illusion that I thought I needed to exist. Like, they
Ooh.
say these things like, if you don't drink water for 3 days, you're out of here, game over. Or if you don't eat for 5 days, it's over. And so when I went past,
So,
like way past that limit, I saw with my own eyes and felt with my own being
mm,
that like nothing was true. Everything they told me was a lie. Like everything that was told to me and sold to me as like this is the end of your vehicle. If you go past this threshold, you're not going to be here any longer. You're going to perish. I
mm,
went way beyond that. So I was like, then what was ever true? Like what I started losing my mind and so to speak, it felt like because I questioned everything. It made me question everything. You know, I was like, what are these nutrients? What are these minerals? What are these vitamins? What is this nourishment? Like, what is this thing that is supposed to keep me alive if I'm still alive? You
Mm.
know, I haven't eaten in so many days, I'm still alive. I haven't had water in so many days, I'm still alive. You know, like it was very perplexing. It was very confusing for my mind at the time,
You
but
are
it
not
led me
God.
down it led me down a path to understand that, well, for one, we just eat way too much. We have no idea how much the body is storing. How much the body on a physical level can store is it's amazing. Like the body is amazing. What we can hold on to is amazing. The limits that we can stretch, the capacity that we have to stretch, it's amazing. We should actually look at it like a marvel. This is amazing. Never in a time in history, during this time in history, have we seen human beings the way that we are right now. Like we are
Mm.
we are really stretching our capacity at the fullest potential, if you know what I mean. Like if you look around, you see it. You
I
see
do.
it. So if you
Awakening.
walk, go ahead.
So I said it's a lot of awakening going on.
Yeah. I mean, when I was still releasing, I was still having bowel movements after like 2 and 3 weeks with no food. I was still having bowel movements. I was still going to the restroom. Solid was coming out. No solid was going in, but solid was still coming out.
I
So
did
that led me
this and I did 2 days on this and the next day I kept shitting. I said, what am I shitting? That's
right.
the same thing. Yo, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
exactly. No, you're right. You're like, what is this? What is this? And a lot of it is old waste. You know, there's old waste, uneliminated waste matter that has been sitting in the colon. You know,
In the
the
first
upper.
brain.
I'm
Sorry.
telling you. So people really don't know about it until you see it. Seeing can make you a believer for sure, but we only we only get to see it when it's eliminated, when it's flushed out of the body. You can look at somebody else and say, "Oh, you know, those parasites were in her body, but they're not in my body. That mucoid plaque was in his body, but that can't be in my body, right?" But I mean, the reality is, unless you stop for a time and like really cleanse, you're not gonna know. You know, it's not gonna show itself. It's not gonna reveal itself until you heal yourself. So yeah, that would be one of the number one things I would say to heal. The body heals the body. The body is the healer and the revealer. This is something that I really stand by. It's not that like fruit and veggies, I don't think that fruit actually heals the body. I think it just doesn't hurt the body.
It
I believe
reju
that but the body is naturally designed to heal itself. If you just let go of all food, it's
I
gonna
see.
figure out a way to heal itself.
With sunlight, I think you definitely need some photon, some type of sunlight to incorporate in water. But well, yeah, I think you definitely need some type of water, some type of liquid, because the body's made of 70% water. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Yeah, I totally believe it because you got people who breatharians, they eat off the sun alone.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I totally understand. Because I mean, you got to think too when people eat meat, they're eating sunlight because
Mm-hmm.
the animals are eating the grass, which got the energy from what? The sun.
Mm-hmm.
This photonic energy. We're always searching for them photons in real life, but we so accustomed to we are the body instead of
Right.
I am not the body and moving with the desires of the flesh instead of not going with the desires of the flesh. That's allowing us to stay attached.
Yeah.
So when you learn to detach from these things, man, and truly, like you said, detox fast because it's parasites truly that's giving you these cravings and these urges. And
Absolutely.
just a side note, your hands carry the highest concentration of nerve endings.
Mm.
You have an urge. Take your hand, right hand, put it on your heart, left hand, put it in your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Say, an urge is present.
Mm.
I am not the urge.
Mm.
And then you go, this urge does not belong in my field. I dismiss you.
Mm.
So it is so. It is so is a sealing, or ashe is a sealing
Okay.
tool that you can use to confirm it is already happening now.
Yeah.
It's like
Uh,
amen. So use these tools, people. Use these tools. Use these fucking tools. So
yeah.
let me ask you another question, brother. You think aliens is here? You think aliens is real? What you think about aliens? Holla at your boy.
So I don't know too much about, extraterrestrials. I haven't really gone down that lane.
Mm,
I've heard a lot about people talking to me about, reptilians, Pleiadians, Lemurians, Lyrans, and like all these different beings out
yeah,
here.
yeah.
I don't know too much about that. I haven't really gone down that rabbit hole. But one thing that I do agree with, it's there's a quote by Arthur C. Clarke, and it's one that I really like. He says that there are only two possibilities. Both of them are equally terrifying. And he says that either we are alone in the universe or we are not,
Mm,
you know? But these are two possibilities. Like either we're alone out here or we are not. Now, people can be afraid to say that we're not alone out here. Like there's other beings out here. But wouldn't it be even more fearful? Like wouldn't it be even worse? Like if we really are all we have out here, like do you think in this vast universe, in this galaxy, in this Milky Way, or in this, this solar system, and even beyond, that human beings are the only beings? Like I would be so arrogant. I would be so arrogant to believe that we are the only ones out here.
yeah.
Like how does that even sound? To think that we're it. That's this is it, you know? So I don't know. I'm just of the belief that yeah, of course there are beings out there other than us, but I don't think there's anything to fear from that for sure. Um,
Definitely nothing to fear. That's deep because I heard once that for every creature that we have out here, like far as insects and animals and stuff, there's an actual civilization of beings that look just like that.
wow. Wow.
Yeah, as above, so below,
Mm-hmm.
and they say that this world is simply a copy of the pleroma, which is,
Mm.
home. So I can see that for some reason, you know what I'm saying? Just off synchronicities.
Mhm.
Okay. But I just side note, I've heard that we are entering a galactic civilization. That open disclosure is happening 2027, that we're moving from a earthly civilization to a galactic civilization, and we're going to have some type of spacecations later in
Wow.
life. Yeah, and apparently, from what Bashar has said, that the
Mm.
aliens are going to introduce a technology, a holographic form of technology that shows our true history. So,
Mm.
yeah, I know. I thought that was fascinating. So, I'm holding dear to that because I need to know. What's going on for real.
Yeah.
So, and I say that to ask you this: if you could get a piece, you've heard of the Looking Glass?
Tell me about it.
So the Looking Glass apparently is a piece of technology that they found in ancient Lemuria or something like that. And it's I guess a cube that allows the user, whoever's touching it, to look in it, and they're able to access their highest timelines, and it shows them the decisions that they should make from that point on to reaching their highest version, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but they need a medium that is high advanced medium in order to access those higher versions of those choices,
Mm.
and they access that apparently. But with that being said, I asked this question: if you could
Mhm.
access some type of technology and go back in time, and saying, probably look in the cube and say, I want to figure this out, what would it be?
Figure this out. Like to go back in time and see what I could have
Or
done or what I should have done.
in time, that don't got to be back, it don't got to be forward, it can go anywhere. Time is not linear.
I see. Yeah, it's interesting because I always thought to myself, if somebody gave me a crystal ball and I
Mm.
was able to, look into the crystal ball and see what I needed to do or all of my decisions, if I was able to see all of my decisions that I would make, I think it would just remove the whole purpose of this life for me. For me personally, I think it would remove the the value of learning, like the value of learning for myself, like the growth and development that I would achieve and that I would receive through learning by experience instead of being
No,
shown like, oh, this is what you're going to do here, and if you do this here, this will happen, and if you do this, this will happen. It's like But if I just do it without knowing, it's the zone of the unknown. You know, it's uncertainty that gives this life so much meaning. I mean, there's so much meaning because
It collapses
to
timeline in infinity to exist.
right, exactly, exactly. So it's the fact that we don't know that makes it so meaningful. Like, I mean, we don't know, you know? It makes
No,
it
I'm
so
saying
interesting. Yeah.
you wouldn't want to use this cube to find out who killed Martin Luther King, who got Malcolm X, who shot Biggie, Tupac.
I
That
think
I,
that
like if I had this technology, I'm going to figure out where the One Piece technology is. I mean, where the One Piece is at. You know what I'm
mhm,
talking about? I'm probably gonna find out if I can go. I don't know. I see what you're saying, but me
yeah,
personally, I would abuse that power. I don't. I
yeah.
can't not. I
I hear
can't not.
you. I hear
So you
you.
wouldn't use it?
There's people that I think there's different types of people. You know, there's a type of person that craves knowledge. I need to know. And they can
But
handle that. They can handle that knowing. Then there's a type of person that they don't need to know. And
mm,
actually they have contentment from not knowing.
that
You
is
know, they have peace of mind because there's no burden of knowledge. Knowledge isn't essentially a burden all on itself, but it can be a blessing and a curse. You
yes.
know, it can be a blessing. It can also feel like a curse to know some things. Like, I'm sure there's some things that you know that in the back of your mind you're like, dang, I wish I didn't know that.
Oh
like
yeah, I know.
like
When you move into a state of awareness and a certain level of spirituality, you
Mhm.
become responsible for the knowing.
Right,
You
right.
know,
You with great
certain
power comes great responsibility. Yeah.
exactly. You already know certain outcomes that come with the decision, and you
Hmm.
choose anyways. It's it's a choice. It's
Hmm.
you can't be mad or stressing. And it's a lot of things in life. Listen to me, and it's cool because a lot of things in life that I went through, I noticed I can only blame myself.
Hmm.
I can't put any external validation on my problems because
Hmm.
it was me. And with that solitude of knowing, I was
Hmm.
able to transmute that energy into something else
There you go.
instead of using it to externally blame something or get
Right,
mad, destroy something. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
just taking the responsibility, people, it is a true power. But it's also, like I said, knowing the awareness, having responsibility behind the awareness is so. Listen to me. One time I thought about what if I get pulled over, and I got pulled over. One time I thought about, man, I don't need this job, and they fired me.
Mm,
You got to be careful what you think.
that's powerful. Yeah.
I'm just saying,
That's-
but it usually only happen to those people who's really integrating the information. Because I'm starting to see it. What I think happens, dog.
yeah, yeah. It does. It does. Powerful
So, so,
manifest. Hmm.
so. Anyways, yeah, I'm an evil guy. Apparently, the monks got to him. I'm gonna use the technology for evil. He said he's not gonna touch it. So you want to get the Dragon Balls and wish no nothing?
Oh man, wish Goku and Vegeta and Piccolo back. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you would use the Dragon Balls to wish somebody back to life? You wouldn't
Isn't
to
that what they? Oh man, I remember that's what they were using them for. A lot of times they would use them to wish people back. Like sometimes they would blow up the planet and then wish it back or something like that. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, no, you know, I definitely wish to become my greatest version, to reach my highest potential, and who even knows what that is, you know? Who even knows if Martin Luther King, if Gandhi, if like all these spiritual masters, all these spiritual leaders, all these ascended masters, like even though we know them from what we hear or from what we read, did they reach their highest potential? You know, like did they not have more potential? So I think I don't know if anybody could reach their highest potential in one lifetime, you know?
That's a powerful statement, brother. Hey, the monks got to you. I like it. That was a powerful statement, brother. They got you. Hey, cause he is speaking like an antenna. Can you hear me? I swear to God. I swear to God. So let me just off that with the monks being in your life. Do you feel like they changed the trajectory of your decision making and your life choices?
100%.
Mm.
100%. The stuff that I do today, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would have never imagined, would never imagined that I'd be where I am, be doing what I'm doing. And most importantly, the things that I'm not doing today, I would not have imagined that I stopped doing. You know, I was on a trajectory, I was on a path that was not for my betterment, that was not beneficial. It was for my detriment. I was going in a downward spiral that I couldn't see, because you really can't see the whole picture when you're stuck in the frame. You know, I was stuck inside a frame. I couldn't see the whole picture. Being with the monks and nuns, that meditation gave me perspective. It gave me that vantage point, which was a bird's eye view, to look down on my problems and look down on my situation and say, hey, look, you're in a maze right now. You're a rat in a maze. Like, you're bumping into this wall and that wall. Like, you need to go that way. You don't need to go that way. Right. So that's what meditation did for me. And it wasn't like it solved all my problems, you know, but it actually, it gave me a peace that I could deal with my problems. You know, it didn't make them go away. It allowed me to be content. It allowed me to be conscious while they're still going on. You know, allowed me to not lose myself and abuse myself in the ways that I was doing, you know, 20 years ago, for sure.
Beautiful. Okay, how old are you, brother?
I'm 35 now. Yeah.
Black don't crack. You know what I'm talking about? Good job. So last, I got two more questions. Do you feel like you are the high? Yeah. Do you feel like you are the highest version of your ancestors or the greatest version of your ancestors? And if not, what do you feel like you could work on to be?
Oh man, I think I could definitely connect more with the earth, with the planet, you know, with Mother Earth, just with yeah, like with Gaia, with just just the planet in general. I feel like our ancestors, I mean, they definitely they knew some things that we've gotten away from today. I remember even my father, like my dad would tell me stories, and he would just tell me, just, you know, here and there. It would just be every now and then he would just share a story with me, and I'd be scratching my head because it'd be like he would say it like it was so regular, so normal or nonchalant, but it was like we don't think about this today. Like one of the stories was he was at one of his friend's house back in the day, and my father, he was born in 1953, so he's in his, you know, 70s now. But when back in the day, he used to spend time with one of his friends in Charleston, South Carolina, and one of his friends' grandmother was like in a rocking chair in the room, and my father would hear her in the rocking chair talking to somebody in the room, and he would kind of take a peek through the door and look at the grandma in the room, and she was talking to somebody, but nobody else was there. Like
Mm,
no one else, she was the only one in the room. And so my father would ask his friend, he would be like, who is she talking to? Like, I just heard your grandma like in the room, there's nobody else in there, like who is she talking to? And his friend would say like, oh yeah, she's just talking to, you know, granddad, like she's just talking to him, you know, they do that all the time, don't worry about it, they do that all the time, right? And sure enough, she was telepathically communicating with the grandfather, telling him to go get some milk at the grocery store and to bring back some milk to the house. She did this with no cell phone, no iPhone, right? She was telepathically communicating. So I asked my father, I was like, why aren't we able to do that today? Like, where have we gotten away from these abilities? You
mm,
know, and he felt like it was all of the distraction, you
food.
know, the technology, like all of the stuff that we're just focused on. Whatever you focus on the longest grows the strongest. You
Retention.
know, what you focus on expands. So the power is all in your hands. Like you said before, it's all in your hands, right? What you focus on expands. So I see kids today, they're doing telekinesis, psychokinesis, telepathy, aerokinesis, electrokinesis, pyrokinesis, right? Like hydrokinesis. Like there's kids today, they're getting younger and younger. They're seeing without eyes, you know, blindfolded. They're seeing without the use of their eyes. They're doing all sorts of stuff, and they're awakening in beautiful ways. But it's because of their focus and their attention, and also because their belief systems have not been bombarded by society. You know, they're easily able to catch on to something that seems impossible.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah,
The filter's not there. You know,
right,
they're
right,
not
exactly.
definitely not being programmed as hard. And with the possibilities of everything being on the internet right now, they're able to broaden that spectrum based
Mhm.
off of couldn't do back in the day.
I believe
We
it.
I'm saying, but wow, that was perfect, bro. The monks got the for real. They got you. So last question: where oh yeah, yeah, where can the people find you? What is your social media? And do you have anything that you're working on right now that we can look forward to?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm always working on the next book. I'm always working on publishing the
What
next one. Say again?
what is it?
So the next one that's coming out right now is called NL Prana, and that one's coming out. That's probably going to be my 30, I don't
NLP
know, my 34th book maybe. Yeah.
in
So that's coming. Say again?
neurolinguistic programming.
Yeah, so it's NLP, but it's NL Prana. So it's neuro linguistic
Oh my
programming based on like with a pranic living breatharianism kind of spin on it, and it's just helping people overcome food addiction, helping people come overcome their restrictions, their afflictions, their addictions, but in a pranic living way, pranic healing way.
that
So
is
that's going to be the next one coming out. I just dropped another book, The Song of Kashuda. That one is based on the Bhagavad Gita, which is another book that helped me on my journey. And that one's kind of connected to a book that I wrote, The Breatharian from Bihar. So it's based in India. This is Hindu philosophy. And, just people who want to just awaken their consciousness to, like we were talking about, other forms of nourishment, other forms of nutrition, divine nutrition, as you can call it, just awakening that ability, that doorway. This could be a key, to unlock for somebody. So,
that is
yeah, the books, like I said, are all on Amazon. You just type in my name, Jerome Shaw. Other than that, the website, patreon.com/pranic path. You can get a whole bunch of resources there. And yeah, you could just follow me on Instagram, Jerome Shaw, or YouTube, Jerome Shaw as well.
that's so beautiful, brother. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You are without doubt one of the chosen ones, brother. And I ask you with gratitude to please continue to do what you do, brother, because it's needed. Like I said, I instantly was attracted to your content. People, if you have not checked them out, check them out.
Thank you.
Um, and then please, we gonna be. This is gonna be on the internet forever. If you felt like
Awesome.
he fed you, you felt like he gave you some information that could really resonate and possibly help you right now. Drop your cash app, brother, and don't be afraid to sow a seed and a gift that could potentially, what I'm saying, help a brother out. So, come on, drop the cash app.
Yes, thank you. So Venmo and Cash App is the same as my Instagram and TikTok name. It's just J Rome Shaw. So JROMESHAW. And that's yeah for both Venmo and Cash App. Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And like I said, brother, keep it going. And I hope next, this is a beginning process for me. Like I haven't been doing interviews for as long as you have. You're probably like my sixth or seventh person I interviewed. But yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, your inspiration, and I can't wait to have you back if possible. I would love to. I'm gonna continue to follow you. Like I said, people follow him, and I'll see you next time on the next one. Thank you again. This
Right.
is value. Where value meets vibration and purpose meets practice.